test. Let me see. That's right. Okay. And let everybody know that we up. Yep, send now. And okay. We all good. Keep this down here. Keep this open. All right. All right, if you're just tuning in, the Lost Relic Games Jam is going on right now. June 11th to the 19th, but I think it started a day early, so for a lot of people, I think they're on day like 3 or something. This is day 2 for me. Got in about 8 hours of work on it yesterday. If you haven't seen those streams and you want to check those out, I leave those as VODs. You could play those back. They're on the main page. Later on, they might be unlisted, but then linked to through a smaller video. So those playlists will always be there if you want to see the old ones. But yeah, so the theme for this game jam is connection. And so what I've built here, if we just open this up and take a look at what we got going from yesterday, I'm going to play this. So my theme, or my interpretation of connection, is connecting flights, connecting places around the world, and you can see that here in this map, all these planes, and you can't see it right now, there's no visual illustration of it, but in the background, I've done some programming for all the travelers, so all the people who are actually on these planes and flying around the world and stuff. And that brings me to the third interpretation of connection for my game, which is people making connections with each other. So the pitch is, it's kind of like, you can imagine yourself as this sort of like cosmic Cupid, where instead of like just focusing on the romance part, it's about you shooting your Cupid's arrow in a sort of way that will align people and connect people that may otherwise not have met each other. And you do this by closing airports, rerouting flights, delaying flights, and what this does is it puts people in the same terminal for a few moments, and when they're sharing that terminal or when they're sharing that flight to somewhere, that's when they can connect, but they only connect based off of a few values, and I really hope that I can get to that stuff today. Those values being their personal interests. So, you know, somebody who's into comic books is going to connect with somebody who is also into comic books. But we also have little special things that I'm going to try programming. So that's stuff like, a single mother with a child, meeting a single father who just lost a child, and sort of all the emotional or psychological puzzle pieces that fit together are what I hope to get to today. Because yesterday it was all just kind of getting this working. And I think for the most part this is working. Right now what you could do is all the planes are zipping around. You could zoom in and out. You could drag the map around to look at other places. And you could click the planes, and when you click them, you'll see that these two destination markers get their color changed. I do have to figure out how to change their color better, because I'm not quite sure I understand which color value I was supposed to change. I wanted them to turn green, but it's only when I put my mouse over it. But you'll see that these two turned to highlighted because that plane is actually heading to this destination, but it needs to make a connecting stop here. So it flew from here to here, now it's going there. So if I click on this plane, it's going to go here, it's going to stop there for a while, and then it's going to go here. So basically what happens is you just get all these planes that are finding their destinations, right? So it's like it wants to go here. But what it does is it gets the halfway point between its starting point and the destination. And then from that little, from that little halfway point, it finds the closest stopping sort of connecting flight destination, right? So all of these, so this plane was flying from over here, is actually going to go here, but the halfway point was close enough to this one where it's going to stop there. And then for some of them, if the flight is short enough, they just go to one place. So they just go directly to it. Yeah, and that's what we have so far. So on a long enough timeline, you'll see that all these little traveler game objects here, these start disappearing because eventually they reach their final destination. And when they reach their final destination, they're finished and they just they get removed from the game. So, let's look at the notes. Oh, also let me just make sure. Okay, shared it. I'm also kind of thinking about sharing this on Twitter again. Let's do another tweet. And let's share a GIF. Oh, I mean, share a picture. Desktop, media, this. Join me while I join the stream while I continue work on the Lost Relic. Come on. GameJam. Hashtag made with Unity. Hashtag made with PlayMaker. Hashtag indie game. Hashtag indie dev. Hashtag gameDev. Hashtag. Was there something else? Indie game, indie dev, game dev. That's fine. Looks good. Alright, and then this link. Tweet. Alright, view my tweet just to make sure it looks good. Alright. So let's go here, and what do we have next? Randomly generate characters, so the special and then their interests. All right, so last time I pretty much have it so these people are going places. They're getting off, they're going to they're hanging out at the airport, and they're hanging out on the planes, but they don't really have any interests right now to bond over, so we have to kind of give them some things. It's two categories. One is, excuse me, the special, which is highly specific to that character. And then there is the interests, which is just like those subjects. Let's see. Shrink that down, bring this up. And where are my prefabs at? Traveler. Here we go. Create character, set final destination. And I guess this is just complete. Try again, buffer. Create character. So here's where I want to put the stuff that has to do with their interests. I'm not really sure how I want to do this. How do we do this? Am I overthinking it? Should it just be that they're interested in video games, movies, TV, literature, music, botany, race cars, engineering, food, and model trains? I want to put more interests, obviously. What this kind of also makes me want to do is bust out Data Maker and maybe put this in a spreadsheet to give them values or something. Don't want to overcomplicate it, but that's not too complicated. It's very warm again today, and this room's heating up. Okay. You know what I want to look at is the original picture. Did it get deleted? I think it must have gone away. Yeah, damn. Well, I did have that picture. You know what we could do? We could kind of draw a new one. Yeah. Let's draw a new one using the real thing. So I'm gonna take this and go like that, and gonna take this, make it white, or actually, yeah, that's fine. You know what I'm gonna do? We're just gonna bring it over to Photoshop really quick. So I'm kind of thinking like maybe could hit up let's say 1960s minimalist graphic design. There we go. So what I want is something to guide how I set up the UI. If I can find some type of reference, something like this, maybe like this. Even like that. Oh, look at that. It's nice. Is it cheating if I just put in minimalist, 1960s minimalist UI? This could be interesting. This one. Just some lines and text. It's kind of all it comes down to, huh? What if you searched minimalist airport graphic design? Oh, you know what we want is not, let's see, let's do map. Because you kind of want like keys, you know, like map keys. That's kind of where my brain is going right now. You know, I want, what do you call this? Like this like infrastructure type of graphic design. Industrial design? Is that what it's called? I'll search that in just a second because I feel like okay, yeah. 1960s minimalist industrial design. No, I guess that includes architecture, huh? Industrial graphic design. If I just got rid of that. So let's go over our options again. Okay. I do like this. So let's try white and black. And other little splashes of color here and there. I'll say that if we did something like this as black, and then kind of just like put text on it. Well, if you duplicate it and then squish it down, so when you click on a place, a little window opens next to it. Or does it open in the middle here? If you clicked on it, should it go above it maybe? Or should it just pop up in the center? Or even just down here? No, because then your eyes have to go too far. What if it popped up in the center of the map? So when you click a destination... No. It should be down here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that. It should be down here. So when you click on one of these things, you get your info down here. Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is like, I'm trying to figure out how we could most economically represent all of the people visually. Stick figures are coming to mind, as they always do. And I'm thinking, don't even like just make them like random colors between white, blue, red, you know, just like these colors basically, you know. What is it called when it's like city signs design? What is that called? What kind of graphic design is it when you design city signs? I don't know how to ask this question. Environmental graphic design? Nine types of graphic design. Oh, how about what kind of graphic design is a stop sign? Is it? I think it probably is environmental design. So what if I searched 1960s environmental design? Yeah, I'm having... Dusty Wee, hey, what's up? What are you working on? Hey, Dusty Wee, I am working on this. I don't know if you saw any of this, but I'll just play it for you really quick. This is the Lost Relics Game Jam. Lost Relics Games Game Jam. So the theme for this Game Jam is connection. And yeah, basically my interpretation has to do with connecting flights, but also connecting people. Because there's people on these flights and they're going to have interests, you know, like hobbies and stuff, and sort of their own personal life stories. And the point of the game is to sort of cancel, redirect, and otherwise delay these flights, right? Because you can click on all these, you can click on the planes and stuff, so that the people who have things in common end up either on the same plane together or waiting at the same terminal together, and that way they can form a connection. And you just want to get as many people to connect as possible. So yeah. And then I have this thing, I'm pretty proud of this, is when you click on a plane, it shows you its destinations. So like if I click on this plane, it came from probably somewhere over here, went to here, and is on its way over here. Let me try another one. This one, no, this one, this one. Most of them are already almost where they need to be. Oh, this one. So this one came from over here, right? It's going here, and then it's going here. So the thing is, like, this is its final destination, and between its final destination and where it began, it went somewhere in the halfway point and said, what's the closest airport to the halfway point of my destination, and just make a stop there first. So same thing with this one. This one, its final destination is over here, but the closest airport at the halfway point is actually over here. So yeah, and you can't see it right now, but there's a bunch of passengers and stuff that are being, all these travelers, they're kind of like on these planes. So actually, if you go to the canvas, world map, airplanes, all the airplanes that have little drop-down menus that have children. See, it has 2 travelers on this one. This one has a stack of travelers. This one has a little stack of travelers. And they deboard when they land anywhere, even if they're not their final destination. So they're kind of just hanging out at the airport at that point. But yeah, so now what I'm in the middle of is kind of figuring out how I want to give them their personalities, how I want to visually represent it. And that's what I'm doing over here, kind of designing some of the UI elements. Damn, seems pretty complex. It's not too complex. You're the second person that said that. Either I'm blind. It might be that. Yeah, it's probably just that I'm blind. Yeah, but it's. I think when you play it, it won't be as crazy because there's only going to be a few buttons. It's going to be like, yeah, it's just going to be able to click around and. Should be pretty simple. And that's what, you know, a big part of this right now is when I'm in the middle of, that's why I'm like looking at all this like minimalist design stuff. I'm trying to find really good design because I get it. I could see how like it can become overwhelming if you overthink it or just talking about it. But then you look at this, you look at the actual gameplay of it, like the screen of it, and hopefully it just makes sense. Like you just look at it and it makes sense, you know? I'm trying, at least. I'm trying to make it simple. So, yeah, I guess maybe I should probably focus on these notes. So, if all these people are flying around, it's kind of like missing something right now. I was really excited yesterday about the idea of doing the thing where it's like, let me do this, where this is like split into 3. So, like, it's kind of like this and this. Something like that. yeah, where basically you have 3 panels, and it's like the one on the left shows one of the travelers. Maybe I should get some stick figures up in here. So it's like stick figure. Sign. Yeah, it's kind of like these guys, right? Of course, it's always stick figures and airplanes with me. It's like, come on, Steven, get a new idea. Yeah, I think it'd be something like there's none of them where they're sitting down, huh? Sign sitting. Okay, I think this is kind of it. Yeah, the UI is going to be pretty important. Yeah, totally. Totally. Ah, here we go. Just going to take it like that. And we'll take this one. Like this. And I guess I want to invert it. Yeah. And same thing with this one. It's like this. So you have the 2 travelers, right? These are 2 people that you're trying to connect. And then you do that thing where eventually this is kind of Now this one, best friends. Copy image, paste, take this XV, invert it, bring it down, this, image, adjustments, levels. There we go. So something like that. Something isn't. It's not clicking though. This is still too vague. You know, like I know. Do I just need to trust the process? What I want is to see and to feel the emotional attachment between these people. And it's kind of hard to do when there are so many, when you're procedurally generating it. Like procedural generation, like, well, I believe has the power to like make really like beautiful things. It's kind of like, well, first of all, I only have a few days left. But also, like, you have to do it right. You have to do it in a way that like doesn't just turn this game into a book. Like, it would be nice to have very brief prose describing these people, with little images too, right, that kind of make you feel for them. They don't have to have like a sad story or anything like that, but just like when you see 2 people, like to kind of get excited. That's what it is. It's like I want the player to be excited about connecting these people. You know, it's like I want the player to want these people to meet, not just for the points of it, but for like feeling for these people, for wanting them to be together. And I'm just not sure I know how that's gonna work. Let me go through these notes again. So, randomly generate characters, their special interest, flight path, flights begin, player control starts, so you cancel flights, you're rerouting flights. Clear all characters means you keep playing until all the characters have made a personal connection, or catch all the characters, meaning that characters expire once they land at their destination. So it's about getting as many connections as you can before everyone gets to where they're going, which is currently how I have it designed. Maybe give them little icons that match or something. Instead of text. Little icons for their interests. I don't know why I didn't fucking think of that. Of course. Okay, so for these interests, right? Video games, movies, TV, literature, botany, race cars, engineering, food, model trains. They can come with little interests, right? So it would be like little circles, maybe, that have the little icon in the middle of it. Like little badges almost. I like that. That's a good idea. Little icons representing their interests. Okay, that's a good start. And you know what? That means that, like, you can have a broken heart one. that does help distill sort of like a circle with a controller in it, and he has a game. Exactly. Right. So I'm trying. Okay, that's a good start. Where it's like literally you just find, because this is kind of what I had in the beginning, where I was just saying, like, you know, they're into games and this other person's in the games. They come together, they connect, right? You make the connection. But the icons thing now makes me wonder if there's an interesting sort of visual way to describe or represent their, like, attraction or complementary nature between each other. You know what I need to do is, like, first of all, let's make a list of problems to solve. So first of all, where and how do you see all your where and how do you see travelers, just period? Okay, so one of them is on a plane, another one is at the airport. Okay, so when they're on a plane, how does that get represented? You click the plane, and then the info window displays the following. Why do I keep spelling plane this way? That's like, I feel like that's the second time that's happened. The info window displays the following. You know what it could be? I could put the list here on the side. And then you can, right. So maybe it looks like this. Okay, this is good. Maybe it's, let me just find it, like, a normal stick figure really quick. Let me just find, like, a super, give me, like, the chillest, normalist. I wish there was, like, stick figure sitting in a plane seat. Oh, that's why. There we go. This should be better. Here we go. copy image, paste it, invert it. Okay. Then what you do, this is one way. Oops. You could do that. The only problem with this one, let me see. So it's like if you have that guy selected, right? Is that like the list of passengers of the selected plane? Yeah, yeah. So it's like if you select a plane, these are all the passengers on it. Here's the thing is that I'm already thinking that I'm kind of not crazy about this one because it feels kind of you need something to you need an element to select individual passengers to see their information, but as tempting as it is to make this kind of display, my problem with it is that since there's nothing delineating them, it's just an array of the exact same icon. It doesn't really help the player very much because then they're just trying to memorize spatially. Oh, where was that one person who was interested in games? You know, it might be better if, let's try maybe if I did this. Let's see if I rasterize. Oops. If I did something like I guess just delete that. And then could be that. I feel like at this point I'm going fewer and fewer things. You have like Joe Schmo, Lindsay, low hanging fruit, Sam McLink, James Jeffrey Sunner. Left aligned. And you do like Sally Slipson and Jenna Bobena. So something like this, and it makes me wonder, do you even need that? Yeah, you should. Yeah, that helps a lot. And then whichever one you have selected, Let's take this, Control G it, duplicate it, convert to smart object, rasterize it, take this one, XV, and then say that like color yellow. There we go. How about clicking them to cycle through their names, hobbies, and destination, etc.? Yeah. So like, it would be you click one of these, right? So this one you have a James selected, and then you go over to this next panel where you see their hobbies and stuff. I'm tempted, I'm kind of arbitrarily doing these 3 boxes. No, I guess it could still be the 3 boxes, because here would be interests, and then maybe this is their flight plan. So maybe you have like LAX to JFK to what is it like? Is Heathrow? Is that London Heathrow? What is that one? London Airport? Heathrow. London Heathrow. LHR. Okay. So it's like LHR. Something like this. Right, so that's on their last block. That just tells you their flight path. And then the middle here is where you put the interests. Let me see. Interests and hobbies icons. It is kind of just like choosing one of these, huh? I saw another one down here. Where is it? There's this. This is kind of how I see it. This is pretty good. I wish these were circles, though. Lena likes Cozy, PlayMaker plus Unity, says, hello. Hey, Lena, how's it going? Now you're finally tuning into my stream. How long has it been since I've streamed before this? It's been months and months. I feel like I've been spending the last few months tuning into your streams. How you doing? I'm over here just looking for some nice icons. I need some simple clip art icons illustrating a variety of hobbies and interests. I really liked... where is it? I mean, yeah, I really like this one if they were circles. Some of these designs I'm not crazy about, but this is definitely getting close. Let me see, something like this. Flying kites, painting, writing. How you doing? How's it going? How's it going? Yeah, I feel like this is pretty good. These are pretty. These are okay. These ones are okay. I saw a better one a moment ago. 30 hobbies glyph icons. What is a glyph icon? What's the difference between a glyph icon and like just an icon? I am in the beginnings of fundraising and my goodness, it's rough. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm putting out all the good energy, good vibes, thoughts, prayers, magic, rock magic, and moon magic into the cosmos for you. Not like you'll need it, because you got something special on your hands. But that's still crazy. I can't even imagine how much work that must be. I think I like these. This has TV. This has, I don't know about meditation. Some of these are a bit modern. Actually, that's not modern. What am I talking about? Rubber duckies? Ah. What about this one? Nope. Icons, circle. Ooh. These are a bit too detailed. Thanks, I appreciate it. What's the overview of your GameJam game? Well, would you like to take a look at it? This is what I have so far. So, the theme of the jam is connection. And for me, the way I'm interpreting connection is planes, connecting flights. So this plane that's leaving here, if I click on it, its destination is this one over here, this. But the halfway point between that destination and its starting point is somewhere around here. And so it picked the closest airport that it can like do a connecting flight at, that it could stop at. So it's going to stop here. It'll just kind of disappear for a moment. And then in just a few moments, it'll leave again and start heading to this final destination. See, there it is. So now it's heading to its final destination. And on this plane, there's no visual representation in the game so far, but over here you can see all these game objects of travelers. And if you click on planes, you can see that they have children on them. So they have all these traveler game objects as a child of them. So these travelers are trying to get to their destinations, and they just take the planes which have already been scheduled to go to whichever place that is. So they wait around at airports until a plane has a flight scheduled to that destination. So yeah, that's what happens just automatically. You could zoom in around, you could drag the map around, zoom in and out. And the way you play is by canceling, rerouting, or otherwise delaying these flights. So you could click on the destinations and sort of close them as a whatever, like a place to land. You can sort of deny access to a plane, and in that way, if it's on its way to it, it'll have to get rerouted somewhere. So you're kind of like closing these places off to certain planes, and what ends up happening is they have to like stop somewhere else. You know, they kind of end up somewhere else, and these passengers now have an opportunity. If they weren't gonna meet each other, if they were never even gonna be in the same room together, they now have a chance to meet because this plane ended up somewhere. So these passengers form connections. That's the second interpretation of connections, is connecting with people. So right now I'm sort of designing the interface to illustrate their hobbies and stuff like that. So you could be strategic about who you're trying to connect with who. You're sort of, the way I keep describing it is like you're a cosmic like Cupid, where it's not just romance. You know, you're shooting your little Cupid's arrow at people for other things. Like the first example I thought of was like, a screenwriter looking for a producer, and a producer looking for like a hit screenplay. You know, so you put those two together and then they connect. ASD, how can I send you a thing where you could download icons? YouTube's not letting me. Oh, send it to me in Discord. Wow, this would make such a relaxing mobile game. That's a good idea. I never thought of it that way. That could be nice. Yeah, do you want to send it to me on Discord? Dusty Wee? You could send it in the general tab. If you want to send it to me in the general tab. So yeah, in the middle of just looking at icons to represent their interests. Which I guess Dusty Wee is about to send. Oh, here we go. 7.4 million vector icons and stickers. Holy smokes. Okay. Hobbies, right? And is there a way to, this seems, wait, stickers? What's the difference between a sticker and an icon? Ah, I see. And an animated icons. Okay, we want icons. Hobbies. Fill. Black. This is really narrowing it down. Nice. Okay, nice. So I guess I would just get them individually. I mean, these are pretty good. Okay. I think you nailed it. Because these are all, they all do look pretty like uniform, like they're related. I like it. Dusty Wee. Damn, Dusty Wee coming through hard. All right. So I'll do let's do a few. Of course, we're gonna do video games, right? Let me close some of these things. Close these. Keep that open. Close that. Close that. That. Close that. Keep that open. And keep that open. Okay. Laker Mouse. With the, oh, that isn't a clap. That's a high five. Or is it? What is it? Anyways, hello. How's it going, Laker Mouse? How's everybody doing today? So can I just copy image instead of having to save it every time? That would be nice. Ayya. Copy image. Nope. I guess I could just, yeah, just do this. So I think what I should do is make a new thing that is 300, yeah, 300 by 300. Paste that in there. Make a new circle in here, like that. And it should be white. Bring it down here, get rid of the background. No. What? How come delete is finally doing that content aware shit when I don't want it to? That's strange. Delete layer. Yes. Okay. And then I'm gonna take this, double click, bring that down, boom. Scale it down like that. Actually, could probably just do this and this. Nice. I believe this is what I want. I think so. I just want to see what this looks like when they're different colors. Okay. That's fine. And I'll lock this. And just start. Well, actually, do that. Start dropping these in. So video games is one. Photography, painting, books, and listening to music, guitar. I like these. The great outdoors. Oh, you know what it could be? Oh, now that we have such a variety, what it could be is like a scaled system where it's like you interpret the things that they're interested in, right? Like, for example, you have these two, the great outdoors and hiking. So you can have one person who's really into the great outdoors, and you can have another person who's into hiking. They're not the exact same thing, but they have that sort of, that connection. So maybe what it's about is like finding people, finding similar interests, not necessarily the same exact ones. That could be really cool. Let's try that. So what would that system look like if you had that set up? You would have to give each of them, because then you're creating like not a vector. Or I guess it would be like a vector. That's interesting. I'm not sure how to weight that. Is it like, do you do a graph? Do you do like a spreadsheet? Okay, we're gonna try that really quick. Look at my stupid ass face for like 5 seconds. And we're gonna open up a doc. We're gonna open up I'm gonna go to my drive, and give me just a second while I open this up. We're gonna go to 2022 and make a new folder called GameJams, and then new folder Lost Relic 2022. And then in here, I'm going to do a new spreadsheet. Okay, now you can stop having to look at this face. All right. So what it might look like is something where you have, let's say, games, hiking, outdoors, board games, video games, exercise, right? So you kind of have these things. You have three categories that are all kind of like each other, right? Games, broadly speaking, board games, and video games. Then there's hiking, outdoors, and exercise. And then you could take these and, oops. I guess I can't do it like that, huh? Games, hiking, outdoors, board games, video games, exercise. Good luck. See you later. Thanks. See you later. And you too. You too. So games, this is just a straight up 1. That's like 100%. And then hiking and games is like 0. Outdoors and games, 0. Board games and games is like a it's like a 0.75. Video games and games is like a 0.75. And actually, you might even say maybe these are just 1. Maybe this is like an easy one. And then exercise in games is like 0. Okay. Then you have, if we go this way, yeah. Well, actually, we'll do this one at a time. Hiking in games. Oh, okay. Right. So I am looking at this right. Hiking in games is 0. Hiking is 1. Hiking and outdoors is like 0.75. Hiking in board games is a 0. Hiking in video games is a 0. Hiking in exercise is like a 0.75, right? These get really close. Outdoors in games, 0. Outdoors in hiking is a 1. Outdoors is a 1. Am I doing this right? Hiking, right? Yeah. Outdoors in board games is 0. I don't know why I even had to think about that. 0. Exercise, 0.75. Board games and games is a 1. Board games and hiking is a 0. Board games and outdoors is a 0. Board games and board games is a 1. Board games and video games is a 0.5. Exercise and board games is a 0. Video games and games is a 1. Video games and hiking is a 0. Video games and outdoors is a 0. Video games and board games is a 0.5. Video games is 1. Video games and exercise is a 0. Exercise and games is a 0. Exercise and hiking is a 1. Outdoors and exercise is a 0.5. Board games and exercise is a 0. Video games and exercise 0. Exercise and exercise is a 1. Oops. Okay, so that's kind of the matrix that you create. And so when you put two people together, it tallies up the score of all of their interests. And then that total score will kind of dictate how strong their connection is. Right? Maybe you could say like people connecting. Okay, so you have the matrix of interest scores, right? Tally up total score. Score dictates level of connection, right? And so the level of connection could be as far as like they had a nice memory, by just meeting this person, made their day, exchanged phone numbers, maybe exchanged emails, exchanged social media, and you could, the intense one is like fell in love, joined in travel, maybe that could be potentially one. Maybe they shared a meal, grabbed a drink, kissed, hooked up in the bathroom, and what else? Had a deep conversation, cried together, A plus. Wait, what's A plus? Cried together. Kind of other things. I think, yeah, maybe that's a good little. Right, so those are the score can like give you those things. So in here, let me see, just like hobbies, icons, circle. I'm just gonna like copy and paste this for the whatchamacallit. I don't know why I'm being nitpicky about, you know, fuck it, let's just do this. Come on, Steven. It's just for the prototype. Right, maybe like this. Oops. Hooking up in a Burger King bathroom. I've done that. I have done that in a Burger King bathroom. Yeah. That's really funny, actually. That is super funny. GG. There we go. Image adjustments, levels. I don't know why I always fucking have to do this. Okay. And then it'd be super cool if all these were like, whatever, a different color. This. Oop. There we go. Okay, like this. Why does this matter? Actually, it does matter. Like, you know, you want to see kind of like, I'd rather do this instead of spend like a shit ton of time. Oh, well, would it be cheap if I color coded the ones that were similar? Is that a little cheap? Kind of feel like it's a little cheap. More detail is never cheap, in my opinion. It isn't, but you know, the problem with that detail, the thing that came to mind was like, if you color code them, so like, you know, hiking, outdoors, and exercise, if they were all green because they're similar, well, yeah, because if they're all green because they're similar, then what you have is the player just looking for green icons, and so that means they're just looking for the color of it, which that might be okay. That might be okay, but then what you're taking out of it is the human context, because now they're just looking at colors. They're just saying, oh, put green to green, blue to blue. You know, it's no longer about the player's interpretation, the critical thinking of like, well, that tent, you know, the outdoors is kind of like hiking, and and sort of discovering the similarities themselves. Where on the other hand, it's like, that is really nice. That's good readable design. Because it does say that these things are similar. Um, you know, it's a tough one. I don't think it's as simple as like I don't think it's just an obvious yes, you know. It's kind of hard. But that looks nice, right? Like this interface I think looks really nice, and it would be cool to have the color in it. Alternatively, well, actually, I was gonna say alternatively they could be arbitrarily colored, but if they're arbitrarily colored, then that I think is even worse. What does it look like if they're just without? See, it's pretty dull without. This looks so much nicer. Oh, okay, hang on. Now I'm thinking, what if you colored them by importance to that person? So for James, maybe like let's say green are like their favorite shit in the world. So he loves football, American football, video games, and camping, because those are his green ones. And the things that he hates, ooh, this kind of is interesting because people do bond over hating. They connect over hating shit. He hates, you know, the rest of the world's football, soccer. He hates movies, he hates puzzles, and he hates sleeping, because those are his red ones. And so if you found somebody who also hated some of these things, he could bond with them over that. Maybe have it as a difficulty setting. Difficulty setting? What do you mean by that? Also, let me save this before my... Save to Creative Cloud? No. I don't care. Save to my fucking computer. I do not. Jesus, Photoshop. Come on. A little too thirsty. Documents. GitHub. Lost Relic. Oh, actually, I put this on my desktop, huh? Lost Relic Media. Call this UI prototype UI underscore Lost Relic 2022. Would make the scoring system deeper, in my opinion. Yeah, the scoring system would become a lot deeper if you did it this way. The color thing also, I really... Oh, like, right, okay, I see. I think I see what you're saying. Also, I really like the idea you just said. Okay. Yeah. It's troubling. Because I do have to make a fucking decision. I just have to decide. Shit. So if it is a color thing, then that means I programmatically color them, and I don't have to color them individually in Photoshop, which would be kind of nice. And then let me go back to this. What were some of my notes? You just tally them up, right? Okay, I'm trying to think of what else is missing. So it's getting closer now that we have these kind of icons set up. The interface, it makes sense. It's like these are their interests. This is when you click on a person. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what other... Here, this question here says, where and how do you see travelers? You say, on a plane. Click on the plane. The window displays the following, which is list of travelers, their interests, and their flight path. I kind of feel like the flight path is actually a redundancy. Is this kind of unnecessary? I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. I feel like there's an opportunity to put something more important here. What I am, like, the thing that I've been thinking about a lot, the more tempting thing is including kind of like a more detailed text. I know I'm the guy who's always on about how much I don't enjoy reading in games, but I know people do, and I have sometimes, like a handful of times. But what I could say even more is that I'm actually really interested in writing for these things. So, like, the thing that comes to mind is, like, if I changed this to something like, and changed that, maybe a little bit, this, and then like this. It's too much. God damn it. Come on. It's so hard to dial this in. That's good. You know, something like James grew up in whatever, Indianapolis. Had a wife. Oh. James grew up in Indianapolis. His wife divorced him. His only child passed away in a whatever, car accident. He enjoys camping. He hates puzzles and sleeping. Like, this part gets a little, that's kind of redundant if you mention the things that over here in the left panel. So if you kind of just take this, James grew up in Indianapolis, his wife divorced him, his only child passed away in a car accident. You can maybe take this and go like, Minty Unbox. Hello. First stream of yours I'm able to catch. Oh, nice. Glad to have you, Minty Unbox. Yeah. How did you find me? What brings you here? And how you doing? See, I do kind of like this. Just a little chunk of, just a little something to say about James. His wife. James grew up in Indianapolis. His wife divorced him. His only child passed away in a car accident. I don't know. I don't know. What's missing here? What's missing here? I was learning PlayMaker a while back, and I used your videos as motivation to get me going. Oh, right on. Right on. Are you in the middle of developing anything? Are you working on anything? Just also like the current state of James, right? Today, James is having a rough day. He's tired. He almost missed his flight. And the people he's sitting next to won't shut up about puzzles. Right? So you can infer from that that's a really bad day because he hates puzzles, right? Where's the humor in this game? Where the fuck is the humor? This game needs to be funnier. Like the logic of a lot of these things is checking out, right? I could just do this thing where I put this up and it's not even, I don't even have this third box. The game would work. It would work, right? If I just had these two first boxes and made it so when you click on the airplane, you could see who's in it. Same thing when you click a destination, you could see who's there. Oh. Is it a proximity thing? Is it like... let's see, airport... minimal... Oh, sorry, fuck. It's like, it's so hot, it's like making me sleepy. Like what I'm looking for is airport, like an airport terminal. Oh, I love this. Airport terminal. Oh, I forgot I could use this site that Dusty Wee sent. Okay, let me check. It's kind of like that. Let's search airport terminal. Not currently, but I have a vacation coming up. I plan to use what I learned and give myself that week to start and finish something. Right on. It's a good plan. You could do a lot in a week. You could learn a whole lot in a week. That's going to be a magical 7 days. That's exciting. When you work on it, you should totally share what you're working on in the Work in Progress channel. Highly encourage you to share what you're working on. I love seeing what people are working on. Like this. Yes. Let me see if there's another one. There's that one kind of looks like that. I like the colors. Like I like the idea of them being in color when you're seeing this part. This is totally what it is. It's like 3 chairs. Yes, like that. Right? These are like super cute. So what I'm thinking is you have something. I forgot I have to do this. You have something like this here. I guess this should just be like that, and then this, and like this. So you have that, or it's that, as well as, I should say, airport or airplane seats. Come on, give me just like, I just want something very similar. This one's okay. Always fucking designing planes shit. I feel like I'm always just looking at plane stuff. I'm not like, I'm not am I in denial? I was about to say I'm not even crazy about planes. Maybe I'm crazy about planes. I just need one that's like, all these ones are all profile. Here we go. Something like that. I just wish it had one of the same aesthetic. Well, what I'm trying to bring up, oh yeah, kind of like that. Well, no, but he's not a stick man. Shit. What I'm trying to bring up is the idea that you get these little vignettes of like the passengers sitting there. I think I'm getting a little into scope creepy territory. Because now I'm like, oh, then now you could, like, you know, decide who sits next to each other. Oh, here we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Come on, Steven, dial it back. Dial it black. Same thing. Is that what this is? No. It's kind of hard to tell what that is. These don't read particularly well. Yeah, it doesn't really read. But if you put a stick figure sitting in them, I guess. Fuck it. So, with this last panel I was thinking about doing is, like, just to have a representation of the people sitting there. Like, so if you clicked on one of these terminals, it would, this whole, like, UI right here shows when you are clicking on a plane or an airport, like a destination, because people are waiting at airports and people are on planes. So those are both of the kind of like areas in which people can connect. So because you could be at a terminal but going somewhere different. Oh, you know what? That's another thing, is people connect by being in the same space with similar interests. And then you also have, though, but you get bonus multipliers. For each additional space they share. So, for example, if they go from terminal to airplane to terminal to airplane, would give more points than if they just shared the same terminal but went their separate ways. If that makes sense. You know what this game's missing? I finally put my finger on it. Like, I do want it to have humor in it. That'd be nice. But I would also like little serious bits, like something that's like sentimental and touching. But if I could put my finger on what's missing, it's personality. This game is missing personality. It has like a nice clean UI, and like I like the way that looks and everything, and you could do a lot with that. That's like a nice canvas by which you can inject a lot of personality. But as of right now, it's just this. It's just that. I feel like it's not really coming to life right now. It feels cold. And that's what this is about. Like, my intentions for this is to somehow inject personality into it. To see, because I think personality will come out of, like, because this is just a name and a stick figure, and then you could see these things, and it's kind of like, all right, well, they're interested in those things. That kind of tells you about them. But yeah, now that's even why writing these things, right? It's to give them personality. It's like, today James is having a rough day, and the people he's sitting next to won't shut up about puzzles. Like, this is a way of making these characters likable. So that the text is like a cheap way of doing it, I think. Potentially easier, and then this thing is a harder way of doing it, I think. So I'm going to put this up here, turn this back on. None of them have that. Never mind. So what would be nice is to kind of see the people that we're tracking, to see them, and to kind of, I don't know, animate them, have them do something, just to, like, there needs to be some personality in this game. It's lacking it big time right now. Like, I keep just wanting to go like, oh, put some nice music and put like, you know, some sound effects and stuff, and that's all fun. How to give a game personality. You know what? What is personality? The combination of characteristics or qualities that form an individual's distinctive character. Famous person. Okay, no. Psychology Today. Animations, dude. Yeah, I know, that would be really cool. So it's like the visual version is definitely more heavy lifting. The text version is less appealing as a player, but more appealing as a designer because it's lower lift. It's like, what if I can get away with writing really interesting text things? Nobody wants to read, but what if you made like, oh, or what if I did voice recordings? What if I did voice recordings that were essentially those little text things, right? And then I just give a little flapping mouth animation. Also, the thing that really sucks here is like the idea of having to make distinct and unique character designs. Like, not really stoked on having to do that right now. How to make likable characters. I've, read a million books, listened to a million interviews, practiced a million techniques in writing likable characters, but it's always good just to go back to the basics and pretend like you've never done this before. 10 methods to make your character likable. Sure. 26 ways to write instantly likable characters. Perfect. Right, save the cat, right, intriguing backstory, understanding, what does this mean? The last one, cool factor, vulnerability, of course, give them worthy goals, let them grow. Oh, what's kind of interesting is, like, where are they going? Airport situations, delayed flights, missing flights, change the moods, messing with the compatibility. Change the moods, messing with the compatibility. Oh, right. Like if they're irritable and stuff. That's funny. That is kind of funny. But I think the place that falls apart is that the whole game sort of rests on the crux of you being able to delay flights and cancel flights and everything. So if the core mechanic that you're using to put people together is also pissing them off and making them irritable and stuff, yeah, I think that would fall apart pretty quickly. You'd have a lot of angry people. They're going to be like a lot more angry than your typical traveler. But you know what I did? I just thought a second ago when I was first reading this thing is like the idea of like where are they going? This give them worthy goals thing. When characters have goals we can relate to. The goal can be primal, like in Hunter games, or it can be burning interest, like in August Rush, where the protagonist yearns to compose great music. Or you can do both. Yeah, like, I guess we can give them personality by saying, kind of like the specials thing, right? Like when I originally was saying that there's a division between their sort of broad hobbies, but then there's more specialized things that are really specific to their character. It would be nice to make a little database of like specialized things, and yeah, it can have something to do with like where are they going, why are they traveling right now, what are they on their way to do or see. Let them grow. Humor, make your character funny. Jobs. Yeah, I feel like that kind of fits into the hobbies thing. It's kind of like that is like just the interest, like broadly speaking, like what's in here? Could give them their weakness. Weaknesses is probably a pretty good one. I always thought the Sim style thought bubbles reactions and the plus minus emoticons flying around their heads indicating real-time chat and mentality was amazing minimalization for interaction. It is. Yeah, it really is. I kind of in preparation for Memories of a Spy, I was watching a lot of GDC talks about the developers for some of the latest Sims. There was some talks about some of the old ones as well, but like hearing them describe how you can create like personality simulators is really interesting. And I agree that like for having that minimal UI, it's like it's pretty easy to read. Like you could look at Sims and be like, oh, I understand how they are communicating right now. Yeah, that shit's really fascinating. I would like to do even less here. I would like to make a far less complex system here for the GameJam. I don't really want to make too deep of a game mechanically. I don't think. Like, the thing is, like, where I'm coming from is, like, when I play GameJam games, if there's like a shit ton of tutorialization and there's like all this stuff, and like I'm playing an RPG and like there's all this story and like special mechanics, and like, don't forget so and so said that you have to do this and that, and like, but don't forget to save this and make sure you're monitoring this bar, that bar, and like, you know, when people put all that into a game jam, more power to them. I'm sure it was really fun designing and stuff, and there's probably people out there who really enjoy playing those games, but I personally, like, my eyes glaze over, because it's like, I know I'm about to play a game that was made in a really short amount of time, that is very surface level fun, and like has only been given surface level thought, because like no matter what, like it still was only made in like whatever 48 hours or 7 days. So you know, I think like the counter to that is like, when you find a game in a game jam that is just, it makes sense immediately, that there's like 2 buttons or like one simple interface that you can immediately jump into, that requires so little tutorialization. Yeah, that like that's kind of what I want, like things that just are intuitive. Yeah, I'd really like it to be that way. So it's hard, because I want to make something that's like really like funny and sweet and like lighthearted and kind of, you know, touching, and weird even. But, you know, usually when you want to do stuff like that, there's a lot of upfront work you have to do. There's a lot of time that you have to, like, that the player has to invest. And I'm basically saying I want my players to have those experiences right out of the gate. You know, like, I basically say I want my players to like experience something pretty intense almost immediately, which is kind of, you know, which is a sort of a silly ambition. It's a bit much for sure. What I'm kind of thinking of right now is like, what if you told stories through their flights? What if you had it so it's like, just so you guys can see what I'm actually typing. What if you had something that was like, here is a character mini arc, right? It starts with their first terminal, right? Then you have first flight. Then you have second terminal. Actually, it's not even guaranteed, because some of them are direct flights. But maybe, anyways, I'm just gonna run with this. Second terminal, second flight, and then final terminal. Okay, so this fits nicely into being a 5-act structure kind of thing. So you have the beginning of the beginning, the end of the beginning, the middle, and then the beginning of the end and the end of the end. So you can potentially tell a little story here. You know, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, let me just close this now. Is it not one of these? I guess I have to like close it from down here, huh? Dan Harmon Story Circle. So his, I think, is in like 6 or 8 parts or something, but there's ways to sort of distill this down into like 5 if you really, really wanted to. So what they need, so character needs something, they go for it. They find themselves in an unfamiliar world. They conquer that unfamiliar world. They get what they need, but they get what they need, but they pay a price, and then they return. So it's, let me see. You could gonna see if I could break that into 5 things. Need, go to unfamiliar world. Or I guess it's just like call to adventure, road of trials, get what they need, pay a price, and then lastly is return changed. Okay, so that's kind of what you could break it down in. I'm gonna go now. Good luck, dude. Thank you, Dusty Wee. Thanks for the hot tips earlier. That was really useful stuff. Thank you, thank you. Let me see something. Okay. So the first terminal could be what sucks about this though, actually, I don't think this is gonna work out so well, because I was like thinking, could you have each of their stops be a part of their story, but you can't monitor everybody at the same time. You'd have to be going back and forth, and you'd inevitably miss a part of somebody's story. And even if you could kind of go to a backlog, a transcript, like, oh, if you miss this, you can go back and like, it was recorded what happened. That feels kind of cheap. Why am I even doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I... this is not helping. Because I wanted to make a fucking compelling... Stupid Steven, come on, you're getting carried away. Conflicting motivations, limits. Be back later, heading home from work. Looking forward to catching up on the stream and your progress. Thanks. Yeah. I hope I have something more. Thanks. It's just kind of, it's hitting me right now that I've been on the stream for a minute now, and like I haven't done any programming. How long have I been streaming? Nearly 2 hours. I haven't done any programming. Done all the designy bits. I guess this is something worth showing. Hold on. Oops. Sorry, it's just like so hot. I need to turn on this fan. Okay. Come on, Steven. Think your way out of this. How do you do it? How do you do it? Oh shit. Just gonna think in silence for a moment here. I wish I could take a nap. Oh, thank God, the air conditioner's kicking in. Perfect timing. the more I think about it, the more I'm realizing that this thing is or all the current versions I'm able to consider of this, I think are a little too ambitious. I'm having a hard time thinking of a version of this that works, that is low lift. Most of the ideas that I'm coming up with for this little feature right here, the little visual representation in the corner, most of the ideas I have would probably require a lot of work and just not enough time for like whatever 4 or 5 days left. I don't think I've ever just sat in silence and thought on a stream before. I think basically every time I've ever streamed, I've tried to like think out loud. It can be exhausting. Streaming can be really exhausting. You have to like think out loud constantly. And actually I think thinking out loud is a useful practice because it forces abstractions into something more like objective or measurable, because you have to use language. Maybe not for everybody, but I feel like whenever I speak things out loud that like the logic of things, it becomes a little clearer. Fallacies or lack of clarity becomes a little bit more obvious. Yeah. But sometimes you really do just need to just sit there and think. So I'm enjoying this silence right now, just thinking this problem through. The thing is, like, if I wanted to, I could just say, like, I kind of was starting to say this earlier, but like, I could just begin the programming process of these things blindly, Like I could start setting this up so it does this. And even down to the whole interests things and weighting them and, importing that spreadsheet and all that kind of stuff. But the reason I'm not yet is because I'm not sure that's a like that road is going to lead me to where I want. Like I need a little bit more confidence in, like, there's a part of me that goes like, all right, honestly, Steven, like, shut up, just make it happen, trust the process, make it happen. And that maybe something will reveal itself to me when I'm further down the line. But I feel like I'm so close to seeing the big picture of this, and there's just like one missing piece that once I do get that, I could ensure myself that I'll have a better idea of how to program everything to work together. Because the last thing I want to do is like program everything and be like, oh, and this is the one thing that'll tie it all together, but then that one thing means I have to like rip apart all this other shit and being like, it totally does not work with how I programmed everything else, So it would be nice if I could just, like, I really feel super close to the finish line here with like sort of the that little X factor, that little something that makes this special. Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop off stream for a little bit. I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna clear my head. Might play some Bioshock 2 for a sec, but I'm gonna come back with a plan. I'm gonna come back with a better idea of what needs to be done. So, to everybody who's tuning in, thanks for joining me. I'll be back shortly because this is a game jam where I do need to just wrap this shit up and get it done. So you will be seeing me later today. Hopefully, with maybe I'm thinking maybe it'd be nice just to take like an hour break or something. But yeah, to everybody who swung by, Minty Unbox gives away Minty Unbox, Laker Mouse, Dusty Wee, Alina stopped by earlier. Thanks everybody who swung by. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed your company very much. Take care of yourselves. I hope to see you shortly. Tony Hamilton is there. Hope to see you in about an hour or so, Tony. And Minty, whoever else is there. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. Drink lots of water. I don't know if it's hot like it is for me here where you are, but if that made any fucking sense. But if it's hot where you are, drink lots of water. Stay hydrated. And get some good rest if it's somewhere where you're going to sleep in the world, and spend time with the people you love, your friends and family. Make sure you're in person with them. Tony Hamilton says I'm late. No worries. I'm going to be back. So hopefully I catch you again in a little bit. About an hour, I think. Somewhere around there. And yeah, so I'll see